everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. My name is Olivia and this is my nail polish channel. This is a channel where I talk about all things nail polish and especially as it relates to sharing tips and tricks and things that I've learned along the way. I'm testing out another type of video series for this channel that I'm going to call One Polish, 5 different ways, where I want to be able to, in each video, spotlight a different nail polish from my collection and give you some ideas for various ways to use it. Not just that, but to also talk about some of the things that I've learned in particular about working with each polish, like uh, things like the texture, the consistency, things that you want to keep in mind as you're working with it, and so on. Uh, so grab a nice warm beverage and settle in. Okay, for our first way, we're going to just talk about the polish on its own. And I should begin by saying, well, which polish did I pull out to start off this series? I had to choose a very iconic polish, and in this case, it is Mooncat's House of Hades. Now, I currently I have it standing upright here so that all the polish can go to the bottom, so that when I tip this over to lay flat, I want you all to be able to see just how low the fill line is on this. Eek! You can kind of see it's like maybe a little over halfway down the bottle, like right there. And this is actually my second ever bottle of House of Hades. I've completely gone through one full bottle, and this is the second one that I've used for it. So you can see just how much I love and use this polish. For those of you who may not be familiar with this polish, it's made by the brand Mooncat, and they describe House of Hades on their website as being a deep blue purple lacquer that's packed with cobalt ultra fine flakies. Now, House of Hades is very well known for being such a vibrant, vivid blue. And as we're getting started in this video and talking about how I use it on its own, let me open it up. And in just a minute, you'll see why I've prepared this black one right there. So I'm going to start by showing you how this goes on its own and some of the nuances that I've learned about it. Okay. Right? So like if you've never seen this before, it may be a little bit jarring when you first swatch it out and you're like, is this a topper? What is going on here? And yeah, House of Hades, as much as it is a polish that, I mean, it does build up to this kind of depth and vibrant color, but something you should know is that it does not do that on the very first coat. And I will say that with Mooncat's recent price increase to where now House of Hades, a single bottle of this, which is, let me see, I've got the website pulled up in the background here. A single, how many milliliters do we have here? It is a, I can't see how many milliliters, hold on. 12 milliliter bottle currently costs $17, which, can be a bit much. So that is why I've got this one here, this black swatch, to be able to show you that if you are looking for a different way to be able to use House of Hades but without needing so many coats, you'll see a nice shortcut over here. So right now we've got one coat that's sort of dry, so let's go in with the second one. Okay. Okay, we're sort of getting somewhere. Let me go back in here. I'll also note that this is a polish I recently wore as a full manicure the other day, so I have recently added a bunch of thinner into this to make sure that I can get the most out of it. So this is a House of Hades in 2 coats right now. While this is drying, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to this black cream swatch that I have here. And the black cream polish that I personally use is Bee's Knees Lacquer Void. I do this because I found over time with testing this out that you can actually get a really good color with just putting it over black. And I know that I'm already kind of breaking my own rule for this video series because I said that part one is going to be here's the polish on its own, and here I go putting it over black. But this is kind of like part one and one and a half here. So uh, let's see how this looks. So I'm gonna put one coat of House of Hades over a black cream polish. Look at that. Okay, do you see the difference there already? And I haven't even covered the full nail. Okay, look at that. I'll also say that if you are wanting to go for an even I guess I'll say like a bluer version of this. I've also had a lot of success with putting House of Hades over a dark blue polish. So, like for example, I still have this on my desk over here. Another one that I've done instead of black is ILNP's Midnight Kiss. This is a really good one that pairs as a base to put if you're wanting to put House of Hades over that. Okay, so this is going to dry for a second. Now we're going to go back here. We've done 2 coats so far. Let's add a third. And hopefully you see what I mean. Like, this is a beautiful polish, but like it is just, it takes a while to build it up. Even with the 3 coats over here, I'm not really getting the full opacity. And I can tell you that's even the case when I've worn this on my nail. It's not even just that this is a swatch wheel thing, and that's why I'm not getting the opacity. It can take a while to build up on its own. So when I wear House of Hades over a darker color like black, if I'm in a rush, I will leave it at just 1 coat of House of Hades and be on my way. But I typically do apply 2 coats of House of Hades. So, and you can kind of see the difference there. I know my swipe just now took up about 2/3 of that nail instead of half. But if you take a look at this little sliver over there that hasn't yet been covered with the second coat, you can see the difference in vibrancy there. So let me just fill that out as well. Boom. I don't know why I said that. This is what happens when I video myself just talking as I'm doing nails. This is just how I am. Okay, so we've done 3 coats of House of Hades here, coat of black, 2 of House of Hades, and let me just put 1 last coat of House of Hades here. Okay. Making sure I can really get it down there in that bottle. Okay. Like I said in my previous video, I want to try to be just very authentic here with my reactions to things. Like I want you all to look at watching these videos as like if you were just sitting down hanging out with me and we're chatting and doing nails and I just say things and make random sound effects in response to what I'm doing. That's just how it is. Okay, so at this point, I've put 4 coats of House of Hades here, and as I'm looking through my camera, I can see that it's better. And like if you were to put this over a nail, you would see slightly more opacity. But my recommendation here, honestly, would be uh, to preserve the longevity of your bottle of House of Hades, knowing that it now costs $17 for a bottle. Use it as a topper over a darker color like black or a dark blue. I want to make the second way that we're going to talk about how to use House of Hades is with topper. And as preparation for this, I have already set up these next four swatches in the exact same way that I did for this one here, with one coat of a black cream polish, followed by two coats of House of Hades. Uh, this is an interesting polish to talk about for toppers because I think it does have a lot of topper potential, but I know I've very rarely seen other people put toppers over it. I think because it's already doing so much on its own with that bright blue color, and also seeing the texture of the flakies in there, it's a question of, well, if you put a topper over it, will that cover that up? In my experience, I think that House of Hades can work very well with a number of toppers. And I've pulled out four different ones from my collection that I'm going to go through and explain and show the differences between how they look on here. So the first one that I've pulled out is ILMP's My Private Rainbow X. This one is a scattered holographic topper. It is one of my favorites to use for this purpose, and I should mention specifically it's silver holographic. Not to be confused with some others out there that are more gold holographic. So, I'm gonna put this over this next swatch. Okay, so I think that it's all right. I mean, and honestly, as I'm doing this, I can't actually recall if I've ever used this combination before with a silver holographic topper over House of Hades. I think that blue and silver do tend to go well together, but it's I personally would not recommend this as the best topper option for it, because I think that the at least indoors, as I mentioned earlier, I will be taking this swatch wheel outside and outdoor lighting to be able to show how all of these look out there as well. uh, I think that, indoors at least, you're not really getting a lot of the benefit of having a holographic topper over House of Hades. Like, you can see that there are silver specks, but you're not picking up enough of that color shift, in my opinion, to make it worth it. So, while I do love a good scattered silver hollow topper, I would not necessarily recommend it for House of Hades. Okay, let's go on to the next one here. Next one that I have as a topper is Crack Polish, a sprinkle of twinkle. This is from part of their last year's holiday collection, and it is a really beautiful silver flake topper. If you see here, it's, when you think of flakes, often you think of like these bigger flakes, and I'll show you another flake topper I have in a moment so that you can see the difference there. But these are a lot smaller. I would say that the flakes that are in this one are larger than what's in a scattered hollow topper like my Private Rainbow X, but smaller than the flakes that you typically see in a flake polisher topper. Uh, Let's see how this one looks over House of Hades. Ooh. Okay. I'm afraid to listen to that back when I'm editing because I honestly got excited, but as I was saying it, it sounds like I was a ghost or something. So, you know how I mentioned that with the scattered hollow topper, it's like you see the extra speckles, but it's not really doing much to enhance the underlying polish of House of Hades. That's not the case here with a sprinkle of twinkle. Like, you are getting the benefit of having a lot more visible silver in here. Like, the silver plays up against the blue so well, in a way that makes it give you some nice sparkle even indoors. So far between these two, I if I had to choose a topper to use with House of Hades, I would go with something like a Sprinkle of Twinkle. The third topper that I've pulled out to recommend for or to test with House of Hades is Starly's Golden Starlight. It is a gold reflective topper. Again, from this angle, you can't really see my fill lines, but yeah, this one, I just put thinner in all of these, so you can't really see, but it's kind of like down to where the S is here. I use this one very, very often. It's a gorgeous gold reflective topper, and I brought this out here to see, can we compare the effect of putting gold over House of Hades versus silver? Let's see. The other thing I want to mention is that, it can be tough to do some direct comparisons here because these really are three different types of toppers I'm talking about here. Like this is a, a scattered holographic topper. This is a flake topper. And in just a second, I'm going to put on a reflective glitter topper. So just keep that in mind as you are doing your own comparisons with House of Hades and any other toppers in your collection. Oh yeah, I think I've done this one before. This is, yeah. Okay. So this may not be picking up super strongly on camera. I'm seeing that there is that sparkle there. This could be a good option to use with House of Hades if you are wanting to get some extra sparkle out of it. But if you don't necessarily want to add a whole lot of additional visual elements like you've got with a scattered hollow topper or a silver flake topper here. So again, this is a gold reflective topper, and the one that I personally use is Starly's Golden Starlight. Okay. And the last topper example that I want to highlight for use with House of Hades is one that I've worn before many times and received a ton of compliments on it. It is with this light blue topper from Spectrum Cosmetics called On Thin Ice. It is a light blue. I wouldn't say it's teal necessarily. It's light blue, icy blue flake topper. And I'm gonna bring back the cracked silver topper for a second here so I can compare these and show y'all what I was talking about with the difference in the sizes. So do you see what I mean here? That the flakes in the cracked on the left are a lot more dainty than the ones that are in Spectrum Cosmetics. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing necessarily, but it's just something to keep in mind as you're evaluating which kind of topper could work best for the look you're trying to pull off. Okay, so let me put this on here. I also added some thinner to this one beforehand because it's been a while since I've used it and I want to make sure it would spread okay. Come on, it's getting there. I'm gonna do just one more here. I think that's good. Okay. So for this one, what I like about this look with using On Thin Ice over House of Hades is that it helps to play up the blue color that's in House of Hades because you've got these light blue flakes that you're putting on top of it, and it's almost like a color combination that you wouldn't necessarily expect to see. You get a lot of interesting visual texture as well. I mean, I know that polished names can often relate to the look of it, but I can see the inspiration for this particular topper being called On Thin Ice because in many ways, it does feel like that's what I'm looking at here. So, if you're looking for a different way to have a topper with House of Hades, and I guess I would say to do so in a way where you're bringing in some additional color. Something like a light blue flake topper, like Spectrum Cosmetics on thin ice, could be a fun way to do that. So I'm going to take this outside into the sunlight, and then we'll move on to the next part. The third way that I want to talk about wearing House of Hades will be as a skittle. And if you're unfamiliar with that concept in the context of nail polish, it just means alternating it with other nail polish colors. Sometimes people will wear a skittle that consists of 5 different nail polishes. And other times, like for me personally, whenever I wear Skittles, most of the time it's going to be alternating 3 different colors or patterns. This is the Skittle that I want to show and recommend for trying with House of Hades. This color scheme that involves using a bright green lime as well as a white with a black speckle flake topper. I'll start by saying the way that I got inspired to do this kind of color combination was, I think months ago, I was on YouTube and looking through some videos and came across one that was featuring a comedian. Unfortunately, I can't remember their name, but she was wearing this very striking blue outfit that was very similar to the shade of House of Hades. And then her nails were this bright green, and I never thought of combining these two together. But when I saw that combination on her, I thought, she looks fabulous. I need to try this out myself. And I did. So the lime green that I have here is another iconic shade. This is Sour Apple Rings from Atomic Polish. And then I, for like, to add in some balance, I guess, and to make it so that I have something that gives it, well, I guess by balance I mean this. I have 2 very vibrant colors already going on here with House of Hades and Sour Apple Rings. And as I was planning out the Skittle, I didn't want to throw in yet another very vibrant, bold color. I've done it before, but if I'm wearing this at like work, for example, I like having something to balance it out. So the white that I use is from Crack Polish called Crinkled Linens. What I love about this one is that it's not actually a pure white. It's one that has like just a very slight drop of it's something that makes it so that it goes just into the realm of being considered off white, so you don't look like you put white out on your fingers. So this is what I'm using as the base there. And then the topper that I have, and again, I wish I could show you the fill line here. Uh, if you can probably actually see it from this angle here. This bottle is about halfway full or empty, however you want to look at it. This is probably one of my favorite toppers. It is Crack Polish Mascara Flakes. I love using this one because it is something that is enough to give you just enough visual interest with a nail without necessarily overwhelming that nail. So what I mean is that I have the speckles of black, but I can still see the underlying white that's there. So highly recommend mascara flakes if you do not already have that in your collection. And so, yeah, this is probably one of my favorite ways to use House of Hades as a Skittle. You still get that bright blue vibrance, but then I just love how the lime green from Sour Apple Rings plays off of that. And then to kind of balance things out, add in this, which, as I'm looking at this, reminds me of cookies and cream ice cream. So there's that. way that I'm going to share some ideas for how to use House of Hades will be using it with a jelly polish. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with the concept of a jelly polish, it is a polish that is intended to be used as sort of like a wash, meaning that it's in an intentionally sheer nail polish. It is not intended to be built up to full opacity. Instead, it's something that can be used to give a different types of effects to your manicure for times when you want to have more of a see-through look. And something that I've been doing more recently is having fun with jellies to change the way that some of my favorite nail polishes look. And that helps me to extend the possibilities for what I can get out of them. So one that I'm going to start with today is Emily DeMolly's Sheer Tint Shadow, which is a black jelly polish. And I've prepped 3 different swatches here. For the first one, oops, and I just scratched that one with it. So, you know what, let me go ahead and fill that in. Okay, that one's, it's still a little scratch, but it's gonna dry and we'll work with it. It'll be fine. So we're gonna start with this one here and add Sheer Tint Shadow. What you can do, like if you are, you know, you love House of Hades, but maybe you feel that it's a little bit too bright and you wish that you could have everything in House of Hades, but just a little bit darker, this is where adding a jelly polish can come in. So I'm gonna add in 1 coat here. And depending on your desired result, you may find that adding just 1 coat of the jelly polish is all that you need to get that darker or lighter or whatever kind of difference you're going for compared to how it looks on its own here. So you can already see that. I mean, I know the name of this polish is Sheer Tint Shadow, and I'm gonna say that there is a shadow here, but like literally there's a shadow on there now compared to, or there's more of a shadow compared to what you have on its own. I'm gonna come back and add some other coats on this to show you the difference with multiple coats, but I'm gonna move on now to the second swatch. For this one, I've pulled out a green, a dark green jelly that I have in my collection. This one is also from Emily DeMolly. It's called Sheer Tint Forest. And this is one that I would recommend to use with House of Hades, possibly for times when maybe you really like the blue color of House of Hades, but you are like me in that you also love teal. Now, I'm not going to say that this is going to suddenly transform this into magic and you're going to have like a super like gem tone teal situation. But what I do mean is that if you are looking for just a little bit more like House of Hades, but put a drop of green in it, that's kind of what you can get as you add something like a dark green jelly over top of it. As I was testing this out earlier, I would say I didn't really start to see the difference between adding the black jelly and the dark green jelly until I got to the second coat of it. So if you're watching this and you're like, they look exactly the same, don't worry, they look exactly the same to me right now too. And that's one of the things that's just part of using jelly polishes, that because they are not intended to be built up to opacity, you are going to, in many cases, need to build it up to get the result that you want. Okay, so for the third one, okay, this one, I originally was like, let me pull out a jelly that is just going to be completely out of left field. And I quickly went back on that, but I also wanted to do one that was something I haven't done yet myself, but that I wanted to test it out and see what would happen. And the result is something that I honestly would wear myself. So this one is a red, I would say this is almost like a fire engine red jelly polish from Starly called Flame Jelly. And I am going to add this over here. Now, if you're trying to make a prediction as to what you think this is going to look like, blue plus red plus purple. And I love purple. Purple's my favorite color. Magenta specifically, I would say, within that range. I probably have more purple polishes in my collection than any other color. So I love purple. And let's see how this looks when I add this on here. Hey. Now, in this case, you can already see the difference in what this red jelly has done to House of Hades. It is giving more of the red tint is making it so that, as I described House of Hades earlier as being a blue purple polish, this I feel is really helping to bring out more of the purple that is in House of Hades. So I love this. I would definitely wear this myself. I can't believe I never did that until today. So let's go back to uh, the black jelly. I want to show you how this deepens here. One coat of a black jelly polish, I would say, is like if the bright blue of House of Hades is just too much for you and you just want to bring it down just a little bit. But if you are looking for an even darker look, then this is how that would look. Okay. So comparing this to where we started before, you can see the depth that's been added there. And I wanted to share this in particular as part of this video because I think that jelly polishes are such an excellent tool for extending the possibilities of how you can use the polishes that are already in your collection. So, for example, instead of me needing to own an entirely separate polish that looks like this out of the bottle, I can just have House of Hades plus this black jelly, which I can also use this black jelly to do the exact same thing for other polishes in my collection. Okay. And like I said earlier, this the dark green one will start to look different once I have added a second coat to it. So I'm hoping that the difference will become even more apparent when I take this outside to show it in the sunlight. Okay, so if I do it at an angle here, you can hopefully see some of that difference there. I think it probably will be more apparent when I take it outside. I think as I'm looking at this here, something I can say that I'm noticing is that, we were just talking about the purple that's part of House of Hades is part of that blue purple makeup of it. I feel like I can still see some hint of purple when I have the black jelly over it, but now that I've put the dark green jelly over it here, I'm really just seeing the blue underneath. So that would be another distinction that I'd like to make here, that if you're thinking about which type of jelly to put over House of Hades, you probably want to ask yourself, how do you feel about the purple that's part of House of Hades? Is that something that you still want to keep in there and still have visible as you're putting a jelly over it? If so, go for either a black jelly or the red jelly. But if you're like, you know what, the part of House of Hades that I love most is the blue part of it, but I just want to make it darker, that would be my recommendation, to use the dark green jelly there. Okay, that's cute. That's I was look as I was talking through this, I was thinking, oh yeah, I prefer the one with the black jelly, but and I know I just said purple is my favorite color, but I, I think I like the one in the middle the most so far, and that is very surprising to me. But I also want to add on a second coat of the red jelly over our third swatch here. I wonder if, like, is this gonna push it too far into purple? Okay. Huh. This, I don't think I have this other polish still in my collection, but for any of you who have in your collection Mooncat's Freshly Bitten, this right here looks very close to that. It's what I would describe as being like a dark purple that has hints of brown going in it. So, if you have been wanting to try Mooncat's Freshly Bitten, but you don't want to buy another polish, but you already do have House of Hades and a red jelly polish in your collection, have some fun. Magic. So let's take this out in the sunlight and see how they look. The fifth and final thing that I'm going to show you in this video as a way to use House of Hades is in nail art. And, I'll say something that I wish that I could have told myself a year ago as I was getting into nail polish, that the idea of nail art is not something that has to always be overly complex. It can be valid even if all that you're doing is adding some lines, adding some dots. That is nail art. So if you are also new, please do not feel the pressure to do something overly fancy or complicated if that's not what your goal is to do. And as with everything, just remember that the more you practice, the better that you will get over time. Now, as I was researching and preparing for this video, I was trying to think of some ideas for nail art, something that I could carry over into other videos throughout this series. And I came across a website that I'm going to link in the description that's called 40 Easy Things for Beginning Artists to Paint by someone named Shihori Obata. And it's a very great website to peruse through if you're looking for easy ideas to use just a few colors and techniques for as you're getting started with whether you're painting a canvas or in this case nails. So for this, I'm going to, and I'll put a screenshot in here so you can see what I'm referencing. I'm going to be basing this off of number 23 on that website, which is the ocean example. In that example, there's a moon over a dark night sky with some stars, and then there's an ocean, and there's also grass in that one. I've decided not to use the grass in mine, but we'll see how this goes. I've started with my basic black here, and part of why I chose that one was that since, like I was saying earlier, like putting House of Hades over black helps you to get that more vibrant boost out of it and opacity. I'm thinking, well, why don't I try to start doing this where I use black as my night sky, and then I just put House of Hades down below on the blue. So let's see. And by the way, this is my first time testing this out. I wanted to be very authentic when it comes to showing you my process for working with nail art and to help you see the various decisions that I make along the way as it relates to how to go about making art. So I'm going to put House of Hades just kind of like on the bottom part of this. So this is the bottom part here is going to represent the ocean aspect of this. And I did add some more thinner to House of Hades as I sat down to do this, but it's a polish that you may need to be very generous with the thinner because it can get thick very easily. Okay, so yeah, we've got right here. It looks like I was gonna say it looks like a minion. I'm not going for a minion. That's not what my goal here is. But it looks like a dark black background and some blue right there. Now, I also want to show you some part of my process and how I go about doing nail art. I have this pad of nail art palette sheets. I got this, I just looked it up on Amazon, the receipt. I got mine in July of 2024. So I bought one of these, and this thing is still going very strong for me in how frequently that I use it. I mean, to give you a sense of how I use these and other ones, like here's an example of one that that I was recently using. I basically use both sides of this until they're all filled up, and it's just a very great way to a very great tool to have on hand if you're trying to do some nail art. Now for the white, remember earlier I mentioned that the cracked polish crinkled linens. I like this one because it's slightly off white. This, if you can see the difference here, ILMP's canvas is like pure, like whiteout white. Now, for my purposes here, because I do want a very bright, super white color, I'm gonna go with canvas for the moon and the reflections and all that. Now, the way that I do this is that I take a little bit of polish. I will drop just a couple of dabs onto my palette sheet there. And then this is the brush that I use. And let me go ahead and pick this up and show you how I do it. Now, I also thought about using a dotting tool for putting the moon on here, but because I want my moon to be a little bit bigger than what my dotting tool will cover, I decided, you know what, let's just see if I can freehand a circle today. Wish me luck. I go about doing this by rolling the tip of the brush around here just to get it fully saturated on all sides, like you see. And I'm gonna go and, oh, my hand is shaking. Ooh. Okay, we're getting there. I'm gonna go back and add in just a little bit more. Why is it looking more like a heart? But we're almost there in a circle. Okay, there we go. And then what I also have as a tool off camera here, I have this little, it looks ginormous and I say little, it's this bowl of, with just a little bit of acetone in it. I just wipe off the brush in there and wipe it off on a towel so that I have it there. I actually don't know why I did that because I still need to use white, but but for right now we've got a white moon. I should actually go back and do this again. Like I said, why did I wipe that off? Probably just habit. The next thing I'm gonna add in will be some of those little flecks and lines that you see in the water. And for this, you don't have to be perfect. Just go with it. So, woo, y'all, it's looking like a minion again. Okay, and don't be uniform with it, because that will make it more like a minion. But no, just have fun with it. It's a nail. Compared to the size of a painting, you've got a much smaller space to work with. But just have fun with it is really the most important thing. And so, last thing I'm gonna do for the white is go in and do a few little specks in the sky. I'm sorry for making sound effects. I do this all the time, like even when I'm at work and like I'm getting ready to share my screen on a Zoom call or something. I don't know why I have to make sound effects to do it, but that's just me. Okay. It's looking like a minion still now that it has like the okay, right? You all can tell me in the comments if you're seeing this too, but you know how they had like that one minion that has like the one eye? This, why did I make minion art? Okay. I'm gonna go and wipe this off. And now I think because I want to have a little bit of depth and not just stark white moon there, I'm going to put some House of Hades on my palette sheet. Also, palette sheets are great to use if you are wanting to mix colors and see how those can turn out. I'm keeping them separate here for my purposes, but feel free to mix them and see what happens. You might get some interesting results. Okay, so now that I've got some House of Hades on my brush, I think I want to just put a little bit of hint in here, like you know how you've got death and the moon and like a little bit like there. And I also think I want to put some of it over the slightly over the white lines that I added into the water. Not to completely cover them up, but just to make it so that it's more realistic, I suppose. Like, you're not going to have stark white lines in the ocean, but you may have like some waves there. Okay. So, you can already tell while I'm laughing. And yes, if you're thinking, Olivia, you're probably laughing because now that you added the blue, it looks even more like a minion eye. You would be correct. Yup, I'm going to overlay here a picture of the minion that I have in mind. But if you can get past the fact that this looks like a minion, just know that this is one example of how you can use House of Hades for creating nail art. It works really well for working as part of ocean water and also for adding some depth into creating the moon. So let's take this outside, see how it looks. So here are all of our finished looks for the 5 different ways that we've discussed using Mooncat's House of Hades. I hope that this video was very educational, informative, minion funny for you. I'm looking forward to doing more videos in this series for other polishes in my collection. I already have quite a few ideas lined up for that. But if there are certain polishes that you have that you are curious to see what I can do with in these 5 different ways, please add a comment and share your ideas. So, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.